Record on. Ta-da.
Oh,
I forget to record these damn things, so now it's being recorded.
All right.
So
I just have to start from the beginning again.
there you go. The beginning, that goes back too far. Annie, how long have you been in this industry?
1979, where I was actually, I mean, I did a print in high school. That doesn't really count. But 79, yeah, I started got a book out of the library and cobbled together some shitty equipment and started producing show cards, back in the day before digital. So long time.
Yeah. A little less than mine. I got in 76, but 79 is close enough. Hi, Marcy. How are you?
I'm fine. How is everybody?
Oh, my goodness. Marcy.
It's a happy day.
So you were doing all flat stock at that time?
Oh, when I first started, we did posters. Yeah, it was mostly because it was retail stores, so we needed the advertising. I used to do big signs for the windows, and then I did all the ads for the newspaper, and I used to do radio ads and TV ads for these retail stores. But the screen printing thing I really liked, so I kind of quit my job there and started working for a screen print sign shop, and I went downhill from there.
Totally.
But we made, once I got into it, I worked in a place that we did signs, T-shirts. We had a 4-color press there early on. And then, after that, when I lived in Vancouver, we started printing a lot of industrial products. And started, getting into printing not so much keyboards, but housings and a lot of large outdoor signage, because we were still pre-digital then. So we used to do a lot of 4x8 hoardings for building construction sites. And then I started printing art prints then. That was late 80s. And I really loved that. And I had this big internal discussion about, do you want to print sale signs that people throw out after 3 weeks? Or do you want to print art that people put on their wall and keep for 1,000 years and give to their kids? So started doing that. And I also got out of solvent-based and into water-based then. And then 90s till now, it's just been a lot of crazy stuff. And the gig poster thing happened early 2000s. And I really, really like that, because I kind of got tired of the art printing. It's so finicky. And I don't have a lot of patience, and I'm kind of sloppy. So the rock poster stuff, it was right up my alley, because we were printing live all the time. And you just had to deal with whatever was going on. And it was a lot of fun, and a lot of younger people in it, and really creative artists. I think some of the best artists working in screen printing are working in kind of the music side of it. It's good. Yeah. And then this Wachiay studio where I work right now, we just got an automatic textile press. We got a 6x6 manual. There's a smaller manual. We just got an Atma flatbed in that's really, really nice. And so we do a whole mix of prints, but we also do a lot of educational programs now too. And so work with a school district, and actually the people that are working in the parking lot out in the tent. I don't know if I can show this to you, but let's see if that looks there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So we set up a print station out there, and we have 5 of the staff are here, and we're making little cedar canoes. I don't have one right here, but we're printing on these cutout cedar canoes. So one of our guys has been working for literally a month and a half, cutting down from cedar that was ethically harvested out of the woods. And we got it in the form of, they were 2-inch by 9-inch by 14-foot planks. And they've been blessed and it'd been sitting drying. And so we cut them down into these small, it's like a traditional coastal canoe shape. And there's a nice saying on it. So they're going to present them to, we have about 1,600 kids in the school system here that are Aboriginal or Indigenous. And so each of the kids is going to get this on graduation. And it says something like, you know, it's like, have courage on your journey and I don't know, paddle straight or something like that. But it's pretty cool.
Don't go up the creek.
Sorry?
Don't go up the creek without your paddle.
Yeah, well, put that on the backside. But anyway, they're working away out there doing that. And grad is I don't know, it's a week or 2 weeks away. Of course, this is all coming to a head. And then I never realized they wanted me to come in today to set it up. And then I knew I was going to talk to you. But anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, not too bad. And you've now semi-retired?
Yes. Yeah. As of March, the end of March.
You're
so
not old enough to do that.
Sorry?
You're not old enough to do that.
Hey, I turned 68 tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow.
Like I said, you're not old enough to do that.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Happy early birthday.
68 tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's not bad. I can't remember back to 68, but I know I was around for it.
Hey, your mic's really quiet, Charlie.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I'm probably too far away. How's that? Any better?
It still sounds like it was muted. It's like there's something blocking it.
Huh. I'm wondering. Let me see if maybe I can use this other mic and see if that'll do anything more. Tell you, electronics and I do not get along whatsoever. See if
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
There you
okay. So,
Yeah, your picture's way brighter now.
is that any better?
No, it didn't change at all.
I can't even hear you guys.
Now you sound like Richard. Oh, Charlie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it any better?
Did not change.
I didn't think so. Let me see if I tell you. Built-in mic.
Wiggle your
There we
cord.
go.
There, it changed. Changed just then.
How's
Yeah.
that? Is it better? Yay, it's actually working. That's a frightening thing when I can make something happen.
Yeah, you're a master technician.
You know, there are certain things in life that you do well. Then there are those other things. Anything to do with electronics are not up my alley. And all of this stuff with mics and even computers and stuff are like, really? I need to deal with this? The answer is, yeah, you got to deal with it, but that doesn't mean you understand what you're dealing with. Anyway, hopefully that's better. And since I'm above 68, I lost track of what we were talking about. You know, it's one of those moments.
Seniors moment, they call it.
So, Andy, what is your specialty? What type of printing do you do now?
Well, in the studio, like I used to have a thing at home, and I moved into here about 7 years ago. We started up. So the bulk of it is textile. Like we print a lot of we print contract for a number of people that have streetwear lines, and then we just have like the average kind of shirt jobs come in, and then we're getting more little specialty jobs like this, printing on this wood. We just printed a bunch of cardboard boxes last week, and then we run art prints and posters as well. So it's kind of a mixed bag. And then we also run before COVID, we were doing a lot of training. So we go into the school system, we have kids do visits, we have mobile, like these teachers that are printing out in the yard here. They're part of this kind of flying squad of teachers that we've got these little portable one color t-shirt jigs, and they will come up with a design for a class, and then they come in, pick the rig up, go to the class, and we use an air dry water-based ink, and they print shirts in the class. So we get the kids printing really early, and then all the high schools now here are set up with screen printing. So once the kids come to elementary school, the ones that are into arty things, and they know a little bit about it and do that. So that part of it actually is growing. We have a website called screentheworld.org, and we've got a thing right now where we've actually developed these kits we send out, and they go out to Indigenous artists all over the province, but they're in really remote areas. So it's completely online, and we do two Zoom calls a week, and they're given a bunch of things that they have to complete, and we kind of take them right from the beginning. We give them a screen that's already exposed as one of their screens, and so they just set up and print, and then teach them how to code a screen, figure out ways how to, I'm that evil guy that starts all the garage printers. I try to help the garage printers, but we're doing this with mostly they're artists that already are, they have some kind of thing going on in art, but maybe it's different in the States. I don't know, but like a lot of the remote areas here, there's nothing going on. And a lot of the reserves, there's nothing going on. Their traditional whatever living they could make is gone, and there's a lot of unemployment, but there is a lot of art. And so we think that if we can encourage the artists to start doing printing and printmaking, it gives them the ability to produce stuff locally. And then once tourism starts up again, I mean, that's a big, big area in British Columbia. And so instead of bringing stuff in from China or Asia that's knockoff Indigenous art, we want to encourage it to be done locally. So it's a pretty important thing. That's my one love, is to kind of spread the word and get people going. And I think that, with the whole industry, it's a common story that a lot of people don't want to admit. It's like a lot of the shops were started by people, just mucking around in their garage with screen printing. I think it's a way out of poverty for a lot of people. And we've seen it work around here because we started in this place. I mean, granted, I know the business and I know people in the business, and I was able to lean on a lot of people in the academy to help us out when we started. But we started with these little one-color jigs that go on tabletops and vacuum tables that you can make. And now we've got this full tilt shop going here. And within our community, I mean, we make things that make people money. And so like all our clients, they make money off the products we make. And we might make $2 on a shirt, on a contract. But that person is turning around and turning that, the story, $8 shirt. And all of a sudden it's a $30 touch. So we're helping people do that and kind of realize their dreams and things like that. So screen printing is all about that.
It's interesting. When I was up in the Hazeltons, we did some Indigenous art prints up there. There's a whole community up there that they also teach wood carving.
Kasan.
And so I have a about a 6-foot totem pole in my yard. My client up there, I told him, wow, I really like those things. All of a sudden, this coffin shows up to my house. And it's like, what'd they do? Send a dead body? And no, it was one of the totem poles that one of the students was working on. And they just kind of worked out something where they ended up sending it to me. So I thought that was
Wow.
pretty cool. So it's been in my yard now for 30 years. Well, in this house for 25 years now, all weathered and really looking pretty good. But I thought it was very interesting when I was up there because they were doing quite a bit of screen printing. I actually have some of the prints that we did from back then.
Yeah.
And
It's you know, like, I mean, the art itself lends it, you know, because it's big, bold colors.
Yep.
And nice swooping lines. And we actually, we've hoarded a couple of rolls of Rubylith, and with our students, you know, like, there's not many people can cut Ruby anymore. But when I first got into this game, up until even into the 2000s, we were cutting Rubyliths for all our big stuff. And so with these younger people, they have all started doing it again. And the ones that are carvers are really good Ruby cutters. Yeah. And you talk about a knife edge, that's what you're getting with Ruby, you know. And it's everybody can scoff at it as in the modern, you know, advertising world, but as a tool, it's still valid. And it's there, like what a lot of people say, it's therapeutic to actually cut Rubyliths. So way cheaper than taking, you know,
film
Xanax or whatever.
You know, it's what's funny is I'm straightening out my basement and trying to get prepared to move, hopefully, and came across a couple of micro cutters that I had from years ago, but also the other kind that's in a round holder and it's pressure sensitive, so you never cut through the Ruby because it's got a spring load, and it's so fine and so sensitive that you can literally sign your name with it and it comes out dead perfect. I mean, it's just one, and your fingers don't cramp up from holding it.
Huh.
One of these days, if we if we have the opportunity to get together, I'll bring it up for you. And that, yeah, the one that I have is from Autotype, and I have their micro cutter, which is probably double the thickness of this other particular blade. The other blade is like a pin. But I used to really enjoy cutting Ruby. I mean, I thought it was always pretty cool. But even trying to find it, I actually, in cleaning out my basement, I'm amazed at some of the stuff that I found. Batches of Rubylith, the micro cutters, my first T-shirt, which made it through one wash, and so there were stains on it of where the colors used to be. But and I didn't print it. I designed it. It was the Wing 76 tour shirt. But I loved rock and roll only because you could get very, very creative. We never got into the poster side. We only did the T-shirt side. But you could definitely go to town on it. And being a bootlegger, the nice thing was you didn't have to get approval from anyone. And you never got a return because nobody ever knew where it came from.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, I see John Howard's dropped in here. He's just got his face up there. But man, the rock poster business just exploded and became, like, you look at the biggest touring. I mean, everybody tours in the music world. They tour to make money now. And the merch table, whether you're a little band or a big band, that's where a lot of the money's made. And at some point, somebody realized, man, if you give a good artist an opportunity to do a good poster, and then we sell it to the fans that came to that event, you get as much for that poster as you do for a T-shirt. And you know, you taking 2,000 T-shirts to a concert or 2,000 posters, tell me which one's easier to move, you know. And
Obviously, you have your view about that, and I have mine. I just think it's easy to throw a T-shirt on and go home with it, as opposed to having a poster that I have to be really careful with.
That's the post-sale part of it, Charlie.
See, we would be able to sell on the way in and on the way out. You'd have to sit in there and wait for them to come to you.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that.
No, I'm joking about that.
I
I
know,
mean,
I know.
you know,
No, but the reality is, I mean, you know, Dave Matthews goes out, they order 6,000 posters. You know,
absolutely.
and that's a lot of posters, but
Yep.
6,000 posters is a couple of boxes this high.
Yep.
And, you know, if somebody wants to buy it and fold it up and put it in their backpack, that's their problem.
Correct.
But, you know, and you see you don't see a lot of T-shirts accelerating in value. I mean, some probably do, but man, you get like an old poster from a classic concert, they're in the thousands of dollars now.
Very
And
true.
even modern ones, depending on the artist, they're going through the roof.
The old T-shirts are good for several $100s, 2, 3, 4, 500, but very few of those. You know, it's just one of those things, and you're right. Posters certainly, especially, you know, back in my day when they were doing the posters for the Fillmore and the rest of those are going for crazy amounts of money.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're gorgeous.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if, well, a lot of those were not screen printed. A lot of those were lithos.
Yeah. Yeah, all the classic, like a lot of the 60s, you know, the Summer of Love kind of stuff. Yeah, they weren't, not too many were screen printed. But nowadays, like this modern movement, you know, I don't know when you trace it from the 90s or something like that, a revival of the poster, the printed poster. It just, in the early 2000s, before there was a crash, in 2008?
Yeah.
Before that, I mean, people making gobs of money at the flat stocks. Like, people were buying stuff left, right, and center because it was cheap art, really, when it came down to it. But I love it because it's allowed me to travel a lot. I've gone to Mexico City. I'd go to this big concert. John and I have been down there any number of times. And
we also do the whole thing in Austin.
In Austin, yeah, at South by Southwest. I mean, we're they say the biggest show there.
Yeah.
We get more visitors than any other event during the week. And you meet some crazy ass people there, and you do some crazy things. It's lots of fun for, you know, a Canadian guy from a small town going to Austin. It's bright lights, big city. It's pretty good.
Oh, my daughter
Incredible
lived down
culture.
there and was disappointed that they canceled it last year, but I'm sure they'll have it again this year.
I don't know. It's every March. They didn't really have much this year. Last year they did cancel it. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And then there's a big one in Barcelona that we go to, and they're now announcing that they're going to do it over 2 weekends next year. And they have like every act you can think of in the world is playing at this event. It's an amazing facility. It's right on the Mediterranean, and it has 10 stages all over the grounds that are all angled away from each other, so you don't get sound overlap. It's crazy. You start at 5 in the afternoon, and you have to man your booth till 5 in the morning.
All right.
Yeah.
So for an old retired guy, what do? Hire somebody you start at 5 and you come back at 5, but in between you have somebody else take over?
No, I drink with the kids, you know. I don't know, maybe it's a combination of jet lag or whatever, but I was able to kind of make it through. And everybody is kind of flagging at 3, 4 in the morning, and you get these just obnoxious drunks coming through, you know, reeling through. Hey, that's a really good poster. But it's like you're all in it together, right? So you try to keep everybody's spirits up, and then pack up at 5, go home, sleep, and then come back and do it again. But keeps you young, actually. I feel like I'm about 35 when I'm there.
Yeah,
Just
I
don't
kind
look
of
in a
feel like I'm
mirror.
at about 68, but you know, traveling is this industry has been great for me as well on the travel side. I was counting, I think I'm up to 60 countries now. And,
That's amazing.
you know, and the bulk of those were for business related situations, although I do always jump in on some of the personal holiday stuff. As long as I'm going to be in a country, may as well take advantage of it and see what's going on there and uh, drag my family along, which they generally want to do, although not to every country. There are those that are like, no, we'll pass on that one. Thanks very much. We'll wait for something better. You take your wife with you?
She went. We
Obviously
used to.
not to Barcelona, otherwise you wouldn't be drinking with the
Well,
young
no,
ones.
she was going to go with us. It didn't work out that time, but she used to. When I first started doing them, there was a show in Seattle every year because of, you know, like the music scene in Seattle, and one of the directors, the American Poster Institute, lived there, so they always had a show at Bumbershoot, which is a nice big festival at the end of summer. So she came down there to help me do the booth a couple of times, and we had a lot of fun. But then she kind of said, you know, nah, I think I'll pass, because you're going to stay up really late, you're going to drink a lot of beer, and you're going to talk about screen printing all the time.
Sounds like
And
a familiar thing.
I said, what? What? But anyway, so she just says, go have fun. And, you know, I do. She used to work the trade shows with me too. We used to go to SGIA every year and do a booth back when I was selling equipment. And she'd always come down. She was great. Um, but yeah, she's getting a little, she just likes staying at home, you know, work on the garden, no stress. Travel stresses her out, I think.
Is that right? No.
I think so, yeah.
Staying home has been stressing me out. I need to get back on a plane and go somewhere.
Yeah.
This whole pandemic has been miserable. My last out of country flight, I came back from Egypt on March 4th of last year and haven't left the country since. Did one flight in between, no, two flights since last March, which normally it's every week. So someday this will be
Missed
over.
it. I have to tell you, I don't miss getting on a plane every other week and going somewhere. I like it's my garden has never looked better.
Mine's looking great because I have a gardener, because I'm not going out there.
I'm the gardener.
I love looking at it, enjoy it, but as far as wanting to do anything, I think the best day of my life was the day I sold my lawnmower, and that's about 35 years ago. There are some things that that are wonderful and people enjoy, and I think that's great. Like I said, I love looking at the gardens, but I don't need to do anything other than that. I watched the guys yesterday take care of some stuff for me. And it's like, you know, if I did that, it would have taken me hours and hours and hours. And they knocked it out in like 10 minutes. So I'll let them do what they need to do that makes sense. And I'll do what I need to do, which I haven't figured out what makes sense yet, but I'm sure there's something out there.
Well, my wife, she loves gardening, and right when COVID hit, we had started the 2 years before started to build a house. And so this last year now, and then this year especially, she's working on the garden every day. She's out there. but she loves it, you know, like, so I don't mind that. Keeps her
No,
happy and
I
looks
think
good.
if it's something that's up your alley, you go for it without a doubt.
Yeah. I kill plants though. I mean, any plant I've ever had died.
Well, see, you did the wrong thing. I had all my plants made of metal, and they've been identical for a long, long time now. I think I've got 5 or 6 of those things that my wife was an interior designer. She found a metalworking guy who made metal flowers for us. And so we were notorious about killing things. And so these we can't kill.
Low maintenance. That's what everybody needs.
Some things are worth pursuing and other things are not. And you have to make your own decisions on that. So you're going to be doing, I know you and I talked about maybe coming up there to do a workshop or something. Obviously, that's well on the back burner at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not allowed the way we still have travel restrictions between zones here,
Yeah.
and in and out of the country, you know. So we haven't been able to have, like, in our shop, we wear masks inside and stuff, and we can only have so many people at one time. So
Yeah.
we can't really have anybody in, and we don't know when that's going to lift. We have a list as long as my arm of people wanting to take classes. And you know, we got beginner classes, we got advanced classes, we got all this stuff, but we can't, I don't know when it's gonna lighten up.
It's not going to lighten up for a while. I don't think so. At least not on the type of situation you're looking at. I just scheduled my first workshop to do one for Vastex, and that won't be until sometime in October. But
yeah, I think yeah, I think you're right. Like the fall, they're talking. I mean, Ron, I know, like, I work with Ron Hayden usually at the trade shows, and
right.
I guess he's planning, or they booked a booth for Orlando, and he's, you know, kind of saying, "Are you coming down there?" And I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go if I can't get back in the country, and I'm not going to go if I'm not fully vaccinated. So.
Yeah, but and even if you can, if they still have the whole situation about having to hang out in a hotel for 2 weeks, not a great situation.
No, not at all. And you know what? We go to the trade show and drink beer and talk screen printing.
Pretty much. Maybe sell something. Who knows? It could happen.
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah, they're lifting a lot of the restrictions here in the States.
Yeah.
I'm following that. Well, I'm fully vaccinated, and I'm even hoping to get on a plane and go to Europe this summer. I think I have to get like a green certificate or something. I think they're looking to do that. But there's a lot of, you know, a lot of the states are just saying, okay, just be fully vaccinated, and you know, you don't have to quarantine when you come in and all that good stuff. So, though I do think when I come back into the country, I have to get a negative COVID test.
You do 3 days before you get on the plane.
Yep, 3 days before I get on the plane.
Europe, for the most part, still tough to get there. I was just talking to a friend in Germany the other day, and he's not a youngster. He still hasn't gotten vaccinated. I think Germany only has about 8% of their population vaccinated.
Right.
And they're having outbreaks all over the place. I don't know what the other countries are like, but one of my clients had to cancel his trip where he was going to be going to like 6 or 7 countries. They basically shut that whole thing down. I'm not sure how easy it is to get in and out of Europe at the moment.
A little easier than we think. So.
Which country?
France.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I know if you want to go to the other side of the world, you can pretty much kiss that off between India and
Oh, yeah.
Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, those, all of those are locked down tight and totally out of control. But when are you planning on going to Europe?
We're leaving the beginning of August, so we'll see how
So,
that happens.
which
Yeah,
is
we got
not
a
too
couple more
bad.
months.
I was going to say, it just depends on how diligent they are about getting the vaccine into arms over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the States, I think we're doing pretty decent. I know they had that NBM show down in Texas. What was it, a week and a half or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Which my understanding is it was small and attendance wasn't great or anything, but it did open up the first show in terms of this industry. So it'll be interesting to see. Their next one, I think, is in June, and curious to see how that one turns out. I know, I think I have my first show is going to be the Little Dax show, and that's not until July, and I'm hoping by then things are looking even brighter. Yeah. Are they having any of the? They're not, obviously. They're not having any of the Canadian shows, are they?
Yeah, I don't think so because you can't. Like, I can't even leave Vancouver Island.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can't go in or out of the Vancouver general area into the interior. You can't come in from Alberta. Uh, and so like Ontario, yeah, it's I mean, they've still got planes going back and forth, but you always hear these, oh yeah, a plane came from Toronto and 3 people had COVID on it. You know, it's just like bullshit stuff. So yeah, nobody's traveling anywhere. Although, I mean, we had our May 24th weekend just passed, Victoria Day.
Yeah.
So most of the shutdowns were timed to end today. They wanted to stop people from traveling on the holiday weekends and then and partying or getting together. And so now they've got the caseloads are starting to drop. They're seeing evidence of it, and you know, the more and more people getting vaccinated, obviously. But I don't think anything's gonna open up. At the most, I might be able to go to Vancouver and see my granddaughter. I haven't seen her for a year, you know, and it's shitty, but it's the way it is, and I think it's the right thing to do. I don't really agree with, I don't know, tons of people getting together and then a bunch of them getting sick. I don't think that's the right way to go.
I would agree with you. I think it's stupid. We had friends here who decided it was their grandson's birthday. And so it was all in the yard, 12 people. The grandson is about 20. And they all went. And of course, stupidly, they were hugging, et cetera, et cetera. It turned out he had COVID, but didn't know it. Of the 12 people at the party, 11 of them came down with COVID. And it's like, what were you thinking? I mean, come on. You know, he's 20 years old. He's out in the middle of everything that goes on, and you're hugging him? Stupid. And so one of them was the guy who we're friendly with came down with pneumonia, had to go to, fortunately didn't need a respirator or anything, but took him about 6 to 8 weeks to recover. You know, I mean, you're just basically flat on your back. Stupid. You know, even now they've lifted, especially in Colorado, among other places, they've lifted the restrictions on masks. So if you've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated, you can be in a room with other people who are vaccinated, both small and large crowds. we go to the supermarket, I put my mask on. I don't really want to take a chance on, after all this time, what the hell is a big deal about putting a mask on?
I know. I know.
You know, they're making it sound like it's such a horrible thing. It's like, really, doctors were doing this for forever and didn't bitch about it as much. So I don't know. I just don't understand when somebody won't do something that makes sense.
Stupid human tricks.
Uh, we're known for that. You know, you want to see somebody who does something smart, just look at the animals.
Yeah.
In any event, I don't know if anybody got anything else to throw in there. Otherwise, I think,
Questions, answers, opinions?
otherwise we can let you get back to printing canoe pieces.
I haven't heard any screaming or yelling coming from there.
Oh, well, maybe you should stay indoors and not go over there. You know, it's the old no news is good news type stuff.
Oh yeah. No, I love it when you go over and you know they're going to have a rack full of these canoes. There's 1,600 of them.
They're going to be printing for
And then
one color job, I assume.
yeah. But the wood, you know, the wood. I mean, it was rough cedar, and then it's been cut and planed and sanded, and you know, just to prep it to get it ready. Because if you
Right.
print wood, you got to have the surface has to be really really nice.
Smooth. Yeah.
And but they look good, you know, and I think the you know kids will like them. It's a better than a plaque, right? You know, like
Yep.
a lot of times they just go to the store and they get a plaque done up and it's got some I don't know cast resin on it. And this is the you know it's coming from some wood from the land here. You know, I think it's kind of cool.
I would agree with you. I think anything where they can relate to it on that level is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's my my belief here too. You know, in BC, we throw so much wood away, and they burn slash. You know, in the logging. You know, like if it's not big enough, burn it, and they just trash all this wood. And I've been really lucky, like through my career, you know, printing stuff. We've printed a lot of wood, different products and different things. And wood is amazing. It takes such a nice print. Uh, you know, a couple of colors on it. It's cool and it's 3-dimensional. As a tourist item, it travels really well. It doesn't break if you throw it in the suitcase. And, you know, you go to some places in the world. I mean, I've run into tourists here from Europe that are collecting driftwood to take back on their airplane.
yeah.
And you go, like, what are you doing? And they say, well, you don't find this wood lying around like you do here. And so I always thought, you know, like a printed piece of wood would make some really nice, you know, tourist item or just decorative art. So,
Well, right now in the U.S., the cost of wood has gone totally insane.
same here.
I know the house we want to build. They just told us that the upcharge on lumber is $35,000, and it's like, based on what? Based on shortages, and the fact that because of COVID, a lot of the mills were down, et cetera. And to me, I think a lot of it is a bunch of crap. But nevertheless, um, raw materials like that are just not available. And the whole housing industry has gone ballistic in terms of building, except they can't build because they can't get materials. And you guys are burning up wood.
Well, not so much anymore.
Crap.
I mean, it's expensive up here now, too. I think it's tripled cost of you know board feet. It's insane.
Yeah, could be.
I know plywood doubled. Plywood doubled.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that you?
It's beside me here. It'll go away in a minute. Customers, we ignore them.
What the hell? Richard, how have you been doing?
I'm terrific.
So you got your a history of screen printing hanging behind you, huh?
Gotta advertise the goods.
There you
Andy
He's
go.
got it
MacDougall.
framed on the wall.
The magic of green screen.
Yes. As long as you don't wear green, otherwise they can see through you.
Correct.
Oh, well. Well, gentlemen, we seem to be losing some people. Andy, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Well, it's a thrill.
And
It's a
look forward
thrill
to,
be in your.
look forward to seeing you somewhere down the road at a show, whenever the hell that happens. And maybe even getting up there and doing some work with you.
Yeah, I'd like that. That'd be awesome.
It'd be
You
a
know-
lot of fun. Look forward to that. One of these days.
Well, get you in here and tune us up properly on these machines. You know, we got nobody can show us how to run them.
Well, I'd be happy to. I'd love to do it. Be a
Need
lot
some
of
of that American know-how up here.
Yeah, American know-how. I'll bring my own mask. Thanks again. Well, if you want, we do this every other Tuesday. So I think I'm going to have Bill Wayner on in 2 weeks.
That would be fabulous.
So he wrote me back. He said, think you can get Kudre and Anderson to come on as well? I said, I'll try. I've been trying to get Andy for a while, so I'm going to see if I can get either of those or both of those guys. But yeah, Bill is pretty much consented to doing it. So he thinks he's been out of the industry too long. I think he's making a mistake because it'd be a lot of fun to chat with him. So in
Scott
2
and I
weeks,
have been trying to get Scott and I have been trying to get Riley Hopkins to come on our show for ages, and he doesn't have a Facebook account and doesn't really operate the laptop at all. So we tried it 2 times and it just didn't happen. So
wow. Well, I'm pretty sure Bill will be on in 2 weeks. So if you guys want to come back and just chat about the old days, that's certainly going to be part of it.
Let's capture that. Definitely.
Terrific.
Definitely.
Gentlemen, have a great week. Andy, thanks again for coming on. Really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Thanks a lot, Charlie. Okay, everybody take care. Richard will talk.
Bye-bye.
John, he just left. But
He's gone.
Yeah.
By the way, I did record this, so if you go onto my website, you can review it if you'd like.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
Okay, take care. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.